Hello everybody. In the last week lecture classes we learned some fundamentals of BJT, and also we learned little bit about the BJT amplifiers. In today's tutorial we'll just see some numericals on BJT based circuits. So the first problem is here: find the operating conditions of the circuit given below. When I say operating conditions, it means the DC operating points. Okay, so for DC operating point, as we discussed in the class, there are only two things which we need to remember that would be good enough to get all the results. One is that the voltage, this would for a DC equivalent, the base and the emitter can be considered as an diode. Okay, so we need to drop 0.7 volt across the base emitter junction, and then we have that standard equation of I collector is beta times I base. Okay, so these two equations are good enough for us to compute all the DC operating points of the circuit. Okay, now if you see, using that, now if you see, this is the voltage which is applied here, 3.7 volt. So this is an AC signal, so we neglect that because we are trying to find out the DC operating conditions. So 3.7 volt is the voltage applied here, and here you have 0.7 volt across BE, so we remove that 0.7, and then this is the resistance, okay, 10k, which comes in this. If I form a loop equation out here, you will find 3.7 minus 0.7 by RB, so you get a 300 microamps current. So that is the base current, okay, which is going to flow into the base of this transistor. So that to find out what is the collector current, you need to multiply it with beta DC, and in the figure it is given out here, beta DC is 100. So from 300 microamperes, if you multiply 100, you get 30 milliampere. So that is the current. Now to compute the VCE, that is collector emitter voltage. So VCC, the battery voltage out given here is 10 volt, and we know what is the current which is flowing through the 220 ohms, which is 30 milliampere. So we can compute the drop across RC, right? So if VCE CEQ, that is the operating point, is VCC minus ICEQ minus RC, which gives us an answer of 3.4 volt. Okay, so if you remember these two conditions, that is if this diode is if this junction is forward biased, you have to cater for 0.7 volt across that, and also IC is beta times an IB. If these two things, if it is known, then you can compute the. So this is what graphically it is shown. The operating point is VCEQ is at 3.4 volt. Okay. Now this is the second one. This is another way of biasing these transistors. Again, in the theory we also discussed, this doesn't have an bias stability, but nevertheless it's a simple biasing. So we discuss about the drawbacks of this kind of biasing. Okay, but then for the tutorial part, we have to find out what is the operating point. Okay, again here. Now again the same thing we need to follow here. Now we got to take this as a 0.7 volt, right? So to compute IB, VCC, now here VCC is directly applied here, so 8 minus 0.7, and this RB value is given as 360, so I compute IB, and once again IC is beta times IB, so it comes out to be 2.028 ampere, and then VC is VCC minus, so same equation. Only thing is here the biasing circuit is slightly different, otherwise the equations and the procedure remains the same. Now this is another, this is actually a very similar thing. Okay, again you have an 100k ohm. You have, now if you see here, there is a small difference. Now this is a 0.7 volt out here, right? So so to compute an IB, okay, so we need to know this drop also out here, right? So in fact, so what is this drop? This will be IC into RC. Okay, so I can write to compute this IB, this is 0.7 volt, right? And what is this? VCC minus IC RC. Okay, and IC can be written as an beta times an IB, right? And here not only IC, IB is also going to flow through this RC. Okay, there are two components which is going to flow through this RC. One is IC and one is IB. So IB plus beta times IB, so it becomes beta plus 1 times IB into RC, and then you have this RB also. So this equation gets another, to find out IB, I can write in a VCC minus IB. So this is VCC, okay, y minus VBE, right? And then if you write a loop equation from here to here like this, it will come a VCC, okay, VCC is equal to 10 into, okay, beta plus 1 IB plus IB RB, because this is here IB and IC both are flowing through this resistance, right? It gets split here, IB comes here, IC goes here. So I can write an VCC is equal to RC into 1 plus beta IB plus RB IB, okay, and then plus 0.7 volt. So that is the reason I got this equation here, taking IB here, and so I compute IB, then beta times of that will be IC, and VCE will be VCC minus an IC plus IB current flowing through RC. So you get these equation. So this is another kind of biasing. This is known as the feedback biasing. In this we said that this is slightly more stable than the previous biasing here, which we saw here. This is slightly better because it whenever it has a negative feedback kind of thing. Whenever VCE increases, okay, whenever BE decreases because of increase in temperature, there will be current increase, but that current increase in current will result in more drop across RC, and hence it will decrease the current in the IB. So there is no thermal runaway in this particular diagram, which we learned in the theory class. Okay, now this is one of the standard most stable circuit way of biasing a transistor. This is the widely used circuit. Now, so here to compute this, again we need to find out what is the voltage here. So the voltage out here will be R2. This is a potentiometer rule. Okay, now we are assuming that the current flowing into the base is negligible, okay, as compared to the current which is flowing in these two. That is why, if you remember in the theory class, when we tried to find out the value of R1 and R2, we assume this current is going to be 10 times at least the current which is going into the base. So these resistors are generally much smaller, so that higher current flows here, so that this voltage remains stable with respect to IB. So you use the potentiometer rule to compute an VB out here, right? Okay, then we can find out the value of an IB out here. This is an VTH minus VBE divided by, okay, in this case, okay, this is slightly different approach. We are taking a Norton Thevenin equivalent of this particular circuit. So we are finding out an VTH and RTH. RTH will be a parallel of these two circuits, right? So now if you have an VTH, then an RTH in series, so then it will be and then you have an 0.7 volt across this, right? So you have an 0.7 volt RTH plus beta plus 1 times RE, because whatever is the current flowing here, IB, okay, the current in IE will be 1 plus beta times that current. So that is the reason when we write the loop equation, you will find it is 1 plus beta times IB. It is IE-RE. The voltage drop across RE is IE-RE, which can be written as beta DC plus 1 IB times. So we can compute an IB. So once IB is computed, you can straight away write IB into beta to get the value of IC. Okay, so this is one example out here, and VCQ here again VCC minus. Now if you see here, the current across an RC and you have to it is not just merely drop here VCC minus ICRC, it is also there is a drop out here also, so that is the reason. And now here we have made an approximation of IE equal to is approximately equal to IC, so that is why we have straight away written VCC minus RC plus RE ICQ. If you want to be more precise, you can write an VCC minus RC IC minus REIE. Okay, so it will make in decimals there will be some difference. So this is how we compute the DC operating point out here. Okay, now it says find the emitter bypass capacitor in the figure if it has to operate a frequency of 2 kilohertz to 10 kilohertz. Okay, so we have to find out the capacitance CE value so that it can operate from 2 kilohertz to 10 kilohertz. Okay, so we know what is the purpose of this CE. It is to bypass this resistance, right? So because this resistance, when we include in series, okay, the gain of this amplifier, as discussed in the theory class, becomes RC divided by RE instead of an beta RC divided by R pi. So the gain drops. So to revert, to get back, whereas this is required for DC bias stability. So R is very critical for bias stability, but then this is going to spoil the gain, and that is the reason I put a capacitor here, so that in the AC model this resistance gets bypassed. So generally what we do is we keep the impedance of the capacitance at the required frequency at least 10 times lower than RE, so that we can assume that RE is getting bypassed at the desired frequency. So if you see here, we compute XE RE divided by 10. Okay, so we get a value of an XE like that, so as 56 ohms. Okay, and also the for a particular frequency range, right? So we will take the it has this transistor has this circuit has to operate satisfactorily for 2 kilohertz to 10 kilohertz. So even if at a lower frequency, it should be able to bypass RE. So we take that a lower frequency of 2 kilohertz also. So so for even for that also it has to bypass, right? So or a frequency, so we can take that value out here for F minimum, to put an F minimum there to compute. Now CE is known as, this whole XE is known as 56, and now we put the F minimum out here, which is 2 kilohertz. If you put that here, you can 2 kilohertz, 2 into 10 to the power of 3, then we get the we can compute the value of CE. Okay, so this is how we decide the. Similarly, these capacitors also, if you see here, the input signal needs to be coupled here, whereas the DC, so this capacitor in combination with these resistors, they form an high pass filter. Okay, so the cutoff point should be above the operating frequency, right? So that way we have to compute the values of CE and CC. So there's one more example out here. In a CE amplifier, RC, RL is given, Rin is given, beta is given. Find the output voltage. So we know the formula for voltage gain is beta RAC divided by Rin, right? So this is the formula. But in this case, if you see, the output is you have a load resistance has been specified here. So this 10 and 10 they become in parallel now. RC and RL becomes parallel, so which will give me 5 kilo ohms, and then we can use this formula of voltage gain beta RC divided by R pi. Okay, R pi here it is given as an Rin as 2.5K. So you put that, you get a gain. Now gain is what? V out divided by V in. So this formula we derived in the theory class, right? And beta RL divided by R pi, right? So that this is what we have straight away using that formula. Only thing is RL is now parallel to RC, so you get 5 kilo ohms, and here beta RC divided by Rin is given as 2.5, so you get 200, and V in is given as 1 millivolt, so output will become 200 times V in, because gain is 200, so you get 200 millivolt. Okay, so this another example out here. in this transistor, when the signal changes by 0.02, the base current changes by 10 microampere. So this is delta V in, delta IB, okay, and delta IC. Now, so if you see here, this is all a small signal variation is specified here, right? And load RC and RL is given. So we need to find out the current gain, right? So delta IB is given, delta IC is given, and delta VB is given, RCRL. So these are the input data available for this amplifier. So first input impedance is delta VB divided by delta IB. Okay, so 0.02. So if you see the wordings out here, when a signal changes by 0.02, the base emitter changes by 10 micro. So this is delta VB 0.02 and delta IB. So you get 2 kilo in input impedance. Current gain, again it says, now for delta 10 microampere base current variation, 1 milliampere collector current variation. So that is the reason beta is delta IC divided by delta IB. I get the value of beta out here, right? And the AC load, now it says an RC and RL is given, so we know the AC load is parallel of these two. So RC into RL divided by, so I get a parallel. The voltage gain is given by beta AC divided by Rn. So substituting that, we get the voltage gain. And power gain is current gain into voltage gain. So we know for a CE amplifier, there will be voltage gain as well as current gain. Okay, both is possible. So so that is why, whereas for an CC amplifier, we saw that there is only current gain, there is no voltage gain, but power gain will be available. So in this particular case, you have both voltage gain and current gain. So we get the excuse me, total power gain as 16500. So if we take one more problem here, determine the AC emitter resistance for the we have to find out the AC emitter resistance. Okay, emitter resistance is as looking into from here, right, into this. Now if you see here, for the emitter resistance for RE is 25 millivolt divided by IE. Okay, this is the formula which we learnt in the class, the emitter resistance. So we need to first compute IE. To compute IE, again these are the two resistance and this is the bias voltage. So we compute the what is the going to be the voltage here. This is 2.35 and then this is 0.7 volt out here. So if you remove that 0.7 from 2, I get 1.67. So now this voltage out available here is this is 1.65 is the voltage which is available here. So I have RE. So if I divide that by RE, I get the emitter current, right? Now once the emitter current is known, I can find out the AC emitter resistance, which is 25 millivolt by IE. Okay, so this is the way we compute RE, that is the emitter. Okay, so this is another problem here. Now find the voltage gain of the amplifier when CE is connected and CE is removed, right? So this we discussed in the theory class again. If CE is connected, then the gain will be beta, right, RAC divided by Rin, and if this is not connected, then it is RC divided by RE, right? So we can use those formulas. So first we proceed right, to find out the RE. Okay, small RE like we did in the previous case. Okay, once we find out an RE, it comes to at 33.3 ohm. This like first find out what is the voltage here, 0.7 volt here, and then we compute that. Then with CE connected, that is with this connected, so this is going to bypass this RE now, right? So the voltage gain is RC divided by RE dash. Okay, RE is nothing but, again we said the two form beta RC divided by R pi, or an RE is what? An RE is an it is same as an R pi divided by beta, right? So that is why we have computed an RE here. So you put an RC divided by RE. Even this, so we in the theory class we learnt it as beta RC divided by R pi, and we also found out the relation between RE and R pi. Okay, which was an RE is equal to R pi divided by beta, approximately equal to that. So we get the voltage with CE connected. So once you remove the CE, then it is simply RC divided by RE plus RE, or you can even approximate it RC divided by RE also. So this is the formula when the C is removed. So this is the voltage gain.